Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, in this three videos, we are going to cover Linux fundamentals from TryHackMe. This is a free platform that you can come and practice your hacking skills. Okay, so come here, Linux TryHackMe. Open an account first. Come here, tryhackme.com, room and then Linux fundamentals part one. So let's start with the introduction. Okay. Welcome to the first part of Linux Fundamentals Room series. You are most likely using a Windows or a Mac machine. Both are different in visual design and how they operate. Just like Windows, iOS, and macOS, Linux is just another operating system and one of the most popular in the world, powering smart cars, Android devices, supercomputers, Linux, home appliances, and enterprise servers, and more. We will be covering some of the history behind Linux and then eventually starting your journey of being a Linux wizard. This room will have you running your very first command. Okay, so we have already run, so let's skip this part. Where is Linux used? It is fair to say that Linux is a lot more intimidating to approach than operating systems, such as Windows. Both variants have their own advantages and disadvantages. For example, Linux is considerably much more lightweight, and you'd be surprised to know that there is a good chance used you have used Linux in some form of another every day. Linux powers things such as website that you visit, car entertaining control panels, point of sales, and critical infrastructure such as traffic lights, controllers, and industrial sensors. Flavors of Linux. The name Linux is actually an umbrella term for multiple OS operating systems that is based on Unix, another operating system. That is thanks to Unix being open source, variants of Linux come in all shapes and sizes suited best for what the system is being used for. Example, Ubuntu and Debian are some of the most commonplace distribution of Linux because it is so extensible. That is, you can run Ubuntu as a server, such as websites and web applications, or as a fully fledged desktop. For this series, we are going to be using Ubuntu. Alright, answer the question below. Research what year was the first release of the Linux operating system? So let's Google this. It's 1991. Later this month, in the date traditionally used as the anniversary of Linux operating system. Okay, 1991, and if the correct answer is correct, let's see here. Start machine. This this room has a Ubuntu Linux machine that you can interact with all within your browser, following along the room's material. Okay, giving us tutorial how to start. Okay, let's mark this as completed and let the machine start running your first few commands. As we previously discussed, a large selling point of using operating systems such as Ubuntu is how lightweight they can be. This is of course doesn't come with its disadvantages. Where, for example, often there is a no graphical user interface or what is also known as a desktop environment that we can use to interact with the machine. A last part of interacting with these systems is using the terminal. The terminal is purely text based and is intimidating at first. However, if we break down some of the commands after some time, you quickly become familiar with using the terminal. We need to be able to do basic functions like navigate to files, output their contents, and make files. The command to do are self-explanatory once you know what they are, of course. Let's get started with of the first commands which I have broken down in the table below. Command and description. Echo. Output any text. that we provide. Who am I? Find out what users have currently logged in. Okay, this is the syntax for echo. We just give it a string and it will output it, and who am I will print the current user who is logged in. So if I try and guess here, if if we wanted to output the text, try hack me. Alright, here we are logged in. So let me clear the screen here. We use clear to clear the screen. Okay, just clear, type clear, press enter, the screen is cleared. Okay, if we wanted to output the text try hack me, what would be our command? So echo and just say try try hack me, and yep, that's the command. So let me type in here echo try hack me. Just try to submit. I think there is no string here. Let's see. Yep, that's correct. If so, why not string? If there are no spaces in your string, okay, the thing you want to output has no spaces. You can't use it without. You can use it without the codes. Okay, so let me show you here. Okay, let's see here. If I say a try me, the output will be same. Okay, but if the our string has spaces, it might give error. Okay, I mean I don't know how it's working, but if it has many spaces, it's working. I mean it's truncating the spaces already. The output has one space, and we just gave much more spaces. So if I see here, try this in quotes, I think the spaces should be printed nicely. And yep, that is the point. Okay, look at the without quotes difference. There is only one space, and the space we provided was printed in quotes. Okay, what is the username of who you are logged in as, on our deployed Linux machine? So let's see. You can also see the username here. Okay, this is the username that we are currently logged in. So if I try here, try hack me, it should be correct. Yep. Let me also run who am I. Who am I? And the username will be try hack me, right? Correct answer. So let's go. Interacting with the file system. So far, we have only covered the echo and who am I command. Now, all that useful when you consider things that we need to do, including navigating the file system, read and write to it as well. In this task, we are going to be learning the commands so that we can just do that. Just like the previous task, I will display the commands in the table in the next heading and show examples of these commands being used, interacting with the file system. As I previously stated, being able to navigate the machine that you are currently logged into without relying on a desktop environment is pretty important. After all, what's the point of logging in if we can't go anywhere? ls is for listing. We already saw this. We already saw all the commands. So let's see. Listing files in our current directory. Before we can do anything such as finding out the contents of any file or folders, we need to know what exists in the first place. This can be done by using ls command, shorthand for listing. So if I type in here ls, there are four folders, access log, and four folders, one file. Let's see. In the screenshot above, we can see there are the following directories and folders. Important files, my documents, note, and pictures. Alright. You can probably ask take a guess as what to accept in a folder contains given by its name. You can list the contents of a directory without having to navigate to it by using ls and the name of the directory, that is ls pictures. So if I want to list the contents of folder 1, so I'm going to just specify a folder and 1, and there are no contents. Okay, let's see. Let's try changing if any one of these folders have any content. Yep, folder 4 has node.txt. Changing our current directory. Now that we know what folders exist, we need to use the cd command, short for change directory, to change that out directory to that directory. Say if I wanted to open picture directory, I will do cd pictures, where again we want to find out the contents of picture directory, and so on. We'd use the ls again, outputting the contents of a file. Willis, knowing about the existence of files is great. It is not at all that useful unless you are able to view the contents of them. We'll, we will come on to discuss some of the tools available to us that allows us to transfer files from one machine to another in the later room. But for now, we are going to talk about simply seeing the contents of text files using a command called cat. Cat is short for concatenating and is a fantastic way to output the contents of a file. In the screenshot below, you can see how I have combined use of ls to list the files within the directory documents, and then he used cat to get the file contents. Okay, we have already seen cat in the very basic Linux video. We have applied some knowledge from earlier in this task to do something. Used ls to get us know what files are available in the documents folder for this machine. In this case, it is called todo.txt. We have then used cat todo.txt to output the contents of todo.txt file, where the contents are. Here is something important for me to do later. Pro tip: you can use cat to output the contents of a file within directories without having to navigate to it by using cat and the name of the directory. Alright. Sometimes sometimes things like username, password, flags or configuration settings are stored within the file, where cat can be used to retrieve this. Finding out the full path of our current working directory, pwd. You will notice as you process through navigating your Linux machine, the name of the directory that you are currently working will be listed in your terminal. It is easy to lose track of where we are in the file system exactly, which is why I want to introduce pwd stands for print working directory. Using the example of machine from below, we are currently in documents folder, but where is exactly on the Linux machine's file system? We can find this by using the pwd command like within the screenshot below. Okay, let's break this down. We already know that we are in documents thanks to our terminal. But at this point, but point is time, we have no idea where documents is stored, and so that we can get back to it easily in the future. I've used the pwd print working directory command to find the full path of documents folder. We are hopefully told by Linux that this documents is stored in home/ubuntu/documents on the Linux machine. Great to know. Now, in the future, if we find ourselves in a different location, we can just use cd home ubuntu documents to change our working directory to the documents directory. Alright, other Linux machine answer, let's answer this. On the Linux machine that you deployed, how many folders are there? So there are total 4 folders and one file. Okay, 4 folders and correct. Which directory contains a file? So we already saw here folder 4 has the file node.txt, others don't have anything. So let's see folder 4 and yep, correct. What is the contents of the file? So let's get it from here. We can also use cd to navigate to that folder and then cat it. So there are, let me show you here. Cd folder 4, enter ls to list the contents and then cat here. The contents is hello world, hello and world. And the next change going a directory back, and then another method that you can use is directly cat specify the folder 4 and node.txt, okay, and it will output the same. Use the cd command to navigate to the file and find out the new current working directory. What is the path? So let's take a guess here, okay, as we already know we are currently in home slash tryhackme. So if we navigate to folder 4, it will be home tryhackme slash folder 4. So let's try answering with it without running the command. So home tryhackme slash folder 4, and that's correct. So let me show you the output also. So let's navigate to folder 4 and pwd. You can see home tryhackme and folder 4. Okay, let's go. Searching for files. Although it doesn't seem like it so far, one of the redeeming features of Linux is truly how efficient you can be with it. With that said, you can only be as efficient as you are familiar with it, of course. As you interact with OS such as Ubuntu, over time, essential commands like those we have already covered will start becoming a muscle memory. One fantastic way to show just how efficient you can be with the systems like this is using a set of commands to quickly search for files across the entire file system that our users had access to. No need to constantly use cd and ls to find out what is where. Instead, you can use commands such as find to automate things like this for us using find. The find command is fantastic in the sense that it can be both very simply or rather very complex, depending upon what it is you what to do exactly. In fact, so much so, we have an entire room dedicated of using and practicing the find command. However, let's stick to the fundamentals first. Take a snippet below. We can see the list of directories available to us. Documents, desktop, pictures, and folder 1. Now, of course, directory can contain even more directories within themselves. It becomes a headache when we are having to look through every single one just to try and look for specific files. We can use find to do just this for us. Let's start simply and assume that we already know the name of the file we are looking for, but can't remember where it is exactly. In this case, we are looking for passwords.txt. So if we remember the file name, we can just simply use find with the argument that we used as in ls command. Find ls-la. Oh, sorry, ls-la is the same find as argument name of the file and then passwords.txt, where the command will look through every folder in our current working directory for the specific files like so. Find has managed to find the file. It turns out it is located in folder 1 passwords.txt. Sweet. But let's say that we don't know the name of the file or want to search for every file with an extension such as txt. Fine, let's uh, let's uh, let's us do that too. We can simply use what's known as a wildcard to search for anything that has .txt at the end. In our case, we want to find every .txt file in our current directory. We will construct a command such as find dash name and asterisk the star specifies the star says like, okay, let me show you here. If I say here find dash name and star.txt, okay, let me save star.txt. This is saying anything .txt, anything.txt. Everything that has an extension or at the end .txt will be found. Okay, so let's try this, and there should be no .txt output. Yep, you can see no .txt. So let's go a directory back as we are already in the current directory and run that command again. I'm pressing up arrow to navigate to the previous commands that I used. Okay, so press up arrow to go to the previous commands and down arrow to come back. Okay, as you can see, find the name of .txt and it will give us. Okay, find has managed to find password.txt within the folder 1, to-do.txt within documents. This wasn't a tough. Yep. Using grep. Another great utility that is a great one to learn about is the use of grep. The grep command allows us to search the contents of file for specific values that we are looking for. Take for example the access log of a web server. In this case, the access.log of a web server has 244 entries. What? Okay, he used the word count WC. The WC is for word counts if you don't know. Dash L is for list lines. Count the lines in the access.log file. Okay. So we also have access.log. So access.log. So let me clear the screen and ls. So we also have access.log. Using a command like cat isn't going to cut it to very well. Let's say, for example, if we want to search this log file to see something that has certain user IP address visited, looking through 244 entries isn't at all efficient considered. We want to find a specific value. We can use grep to search the entire contents of this file for any entries of the values that we are searching for. Going with the example of a web server's access log, we want to see everything that has a IP of 8143.211 and 90 has visited. Note that this is fictional, okay? grep has searched through this file and has shown us many entries of what we have provided and content within the file IP address. Okay, use grep on access.log to find the flag that has a prefix of thm. So I'm just going to say here cat access.log. Okay, let's actually grep access.log for thm. Actually grep for thm in access.log, and we can see here thm slash access. Okay, this is the flag thm. If I want to show here, let's see word count, how many lines are there in our access log. There are 302 lines. So if I cat here, it will be messy, but let me show you this access.log Look here, it's too much, okay? You can scroll up, 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 up. It's too much content. It would have like impossible to find the THM direct uh, THM string in the exec.log access comma exec.log file. Okay, THM. So let's put in the flag here. Access. Submit. Yep, completed. An introduction to shell operators. Linux operators are a fantastic way to power up your knowledge of working with Linux. There are a few important operators that are worth noting. We'll cover the basic and break them down accordingly to bit-sized chunks. At an overview, I am going to be showcasing the following operators. AND operator. This operator allows you to run commands in background of your terminal. Double AND operator. This operator allows you to combine multiple commands together in one line of your terminal. Greater than sign. This operator is a redirector, meaning that we can take the output from one command such as using cat and output to a file directly direct it elsewhere. Double and double greater than sign. This operator does the same function of the greater than operator, but it appends the output rather than replacing, meaning nothing is overwritten. Let's cover this in a little bit detail. Okay, so let me explain you here. If I say here, I'm going to explain this too. So ls. So if I say here, let's go to folder 4 first. Okay, actually, let's see the commands if we can do some thing on it. Okay, so folder 4 has execute read and probably we can do the thing read write and execute, also make a file. So let's see. So I'm gonna cat this file, cat the node.txt. Okay, let's see. So cat and redirect the output of the output that is present here, hello world, to a new file, anything you want, dot txt. Press enter. You can see here there is a new file creator, and if I see the contents of new file, it will be hello world. So we just redirected the new file.txt node.txt to contents of new node.txt to new file.txt. But if I want to, let's say here, echo something very important, and you just redirect this to our new file. Okay, and you can see the hello world should be gone. So if I say here new file, you can look that the hello world is replaced by something very important, which in many cases you don't want the content to get replaced or anything. Okay, so for not replacing and outputting the file, outputting the contents of one file to another, and not replacing the another file, so we use double greater than sign. So let me show you here again. Okay, this is very important. Okay, let's see, this is a password or a RSA private key. So I'm gonna just cat node.txt, do double greater than sign, and output it to new file.txt. And now if we cat the new file.txt, you can see this is something very important is also there, and hello world is also there. So it is not something very important is not replaced. Okay, so let's start, get back to here again. Operator AND. The operator allows us to execute commands in the background. For example, let's say we want to copy a large file. This will obviously take quite a long time and will leave us unable to do anything until the file successfully copies. The AND shell operators allows us to execute a command and have it run in the background. allowing us to do other things. Operators, operator and. This shell operator is a bit misleading in the sense of how familiar it is to its partner, and unlike the AND operator, we can use double AND to make the list of commands to run. For example, command 1 and command 2. However, it's worth noting that command 2 will not run if command 1 was successful. Right, you can use these two commands. If is successful, command 2 will run greater than operator. The operator is what's known as an output redirector. What it essentially means is that we take the output from a command we run and send that output to somewhere else. A great example of this is redirecting the output to the echo command that we learned in task 4. Of course, running something such as echo howdy will return howdy back in our terminal. This isn't super powerful. What we can do is instead is redirect howdy to something such as new file. Let's say we wanted to create a file named welcome and then with a message hey, so we can run hello hey echo hey and redirect it to welcome. We just saw it here where we want to file created with the contents hey like so. The double greater than redirect out anything you want to say greater than sign or redirector. This is also known as output redirector like in the previous operator we discussed. However, what makes this operator different is that rather than overwriting the contents of a file, for example, it instead just put the output at the end. Following on with our previous example where we have the file welcome that has the contents of hey, if we are to use echo to add hello to the file using the greater than operator, the file will now only have hello and not hey. The double redirector operator allows you to update the output of the bottom of the file rather than replacing the contents like so. Okay, so answer the question below. If you wanted to run a command in the background, which operator you're going to use? So it's AND operator. If you wanted to replace the contents of the file named passwords, okay, with the word passwords123, what would be the output? Okay, so I'm gonna cat here file name passwords with the word passwords.123. So I am gonna say here echo password123 and just redirect it to passwords. Let's see here. Yep, that's correct. Now if I wanted to add tryhackme to this file name password but also keep passwords123, alright, we're just gonna use the double greater than sign double redirector to append the file. So tryhackme and double redirector to pass to the file passwords, and that's correct. Now use the deployed machine to put this into practice. Conclusion. Okay, this is the conclusion. Let's mark it as completed. And I think the room is completed. In the next video, we are gonna see Linux fundamentals part 2, and then after that we are gonna see Linux fundamentals part 3. Okay, I think that's all for this video. I hope you understood. The new thing was shell operators. You can also take note of this in your cherry tree. I hope you are taking notes because it is so important. Okay, yeah, if you are just starting, just download the cherry tree application and start taking notes. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Stay safe.